It's Mrs. McKelvy back again with some more wonderful stories. But this week we're going to do something a little bit different. This week I'm going to be reading a different story every day. Each one is from a longer book, a chapter book. And at the end of the week, I'll be asking students from my class at school to vote on which book you'd like to hear in its entirety. And we'll begin reading that chapter book next week and read the whole thing. So be sure to come back every day so you get to hear all 5 choices. And then on Friday, be looking on Google Classroom, my students, so that you can vote. And so we'll know what book we're going to start next week. Well, today's story is The Story of Doctor Dolittle by Hugh Lofting. Now, this book has just recently been made into a movie. I haven't seen the movie yet, although there have been a couple of times it's been made into a movie. But I've always found that the book is always so much better because there's so many more details that you can add when you read it in a book. So this is a portion from the story of Dr. Dolittle. Dr. John Doolittle lives in Puddleby-on-the-Marsh. His house is filled with animals in every nook and cranny. He likes animals more than people. An old woman with rheumatism once came to see the doctor. She sat on a hedgehog that was sleeping on the sofa and never came to see him again. Soon he lost almost all of his people patients. Then one day the cat's meat man gave him some very valuable advice. Why not take care of animals? And that's the part of the story we're going to hear today. This chapter from the book is called Animal Language. It happened one day that the doctor was sitting in his kitchen talking with the cat's meat man who had come to see him with a stomachache. "Why don't you give up on being a people's doctor and be an animal doctor?" said the cat's meat man. The parrot, Polynesia, was sitting in the window looking out at the rain and singing a sailor song to herself. She stopped singing and started to listen. "You see, doctor," the cat's meat man went on, "you know all about animals, much more than these here vets do. The book you wrote about cats, why, it's wonderful. I can't read or write myself, or maybe I'd write some books. But my wife, Theodosia, she's a scholar, she is, and she read your book to me. You know the way they think. And listen, you can make a lot of money doctoring animals. Do you know what? You'd see, I'd send all the old women who had sick cats or dogs to you. And if they didn't get sick fast enough, I could put something in the meat to make them sick, see?" "Oh, no," said the doctor quickly. "You mustn't do that. That wouldn't be right." "Oh, I didn't mean real sick," answered the cat's meat man. "Just a little something to make them droopy-like was what I had reference to. But, as you say, maybe it ain't quite fair on the animals. But they'll get sick anyway, 'cause the old women always give them too much to eat. And look, all the farmers round about who had lame horses and weak lambs, they'd come, be an animal doctor." When the cat's meat man had gone, the parrot flew off the window onto the doctor's table and said, "That man's got sense. That's what you ought to do. Be an animal doctor. Give the silly people up if they haven't brains enough to see you're the best doctor in the world. Take care of animals instead. They'll soon find it out. Be an animal doctor." "Oh, there are plenty of animal doctors," said John Doolittle, putting the flower pots outside on the windowsill to get the rain. "Yes, there are plenty," said Polynesia, "but none of them are any good at all. Now listen, doctor, and I'll tell you something. Did you know that animals can talk?" "I know that parrots can talk," said the doctor. "Oh, we parrots can talk in 2 languages, people language and bird language," said Polynesia proudly. If I say, Polly want a cracker, you understand me. But hear this. Caca, okay, fee. Good gracious, said the doctor. What does that mean? That means, is the porridge hot yet? In bird language. My, you don't say so, said the doctor, all excited, and he rushed over to the dresser drawer and came back with the butcher's book and a pencil. Now, don't go too fast, and I'll write it down. This is very interesting, something quite new. Give me the bird's ABC first. Slowly now. So that was the way the doctor came to know that animals had a language of their own and could talk to one another. And all that afternoon, while it was raining, Polynesia sat on the kitchen table giving him bird words to put down in the book. At tea time, when the dog Jip came in, the parrot said to the doctor, "See, he's talking to you." "Looks to me as though he was scratching his ears," said the doctor. "But animals don't always speak with their mouths," said the parrot in a high voice, raising her eyebrows. "They talk with their ears, with their feet, with their tails, with everything. Sometimes they don't want to make a noise. Do you see now the way he's twitching up one side of his nose?" "What's that mean?" asked the doctor. "That means, can't you see that it has stopped raining?" Polynesia answered. "He is asking you a question. Dogs nearly always use their noses for asking questions." After a while, with the parrot's help, the doctor got to learn the language of the animals so well that he could talk to them himself and understand everything they said. Then he gave up being a people's doctor altogether. As soon as the cat's meat man had told everyone that Dr. Doolittle was going to become an animal doctor, old ladies began to bring him their pet pugs and poodles who had eaten too much cake, and farmers came many miles to show him sick cows and sheep. One day, a plow horse was brought to him, and the poor thing was terribly glad to find a man who could talk in horse language. "You know, doctor," said the horse, "that vet over the hill knows nothing at all. He has been treating me for 6 weeks now, for spasms. What I need is spectacles. I'm going blind in one eye. There's no reason why horses shouldn't wear glasses the same as people." But that stupid man over the hill never even looked at my eyes. He kept on giving me big pills. I tried to tell him, but of course he couldn't understand a word of horse language. What I need is spectacles." Of course, said the doctor. "I'll get you some at once." "I would like a pair like yours," said the horse, "only green. They'll keep the sun out of my eyes while I'm plowing the 50-acre field." "Certainly," said the doctor. "Green ones you shall have." "You know, the trouble is, sir," said the plow horse, as the doctor opened the front door to let him out. "The trouble is that anybody thinks he can doctor animals, just because the animals don't complain. As a matter of fact, it takes a much cleverer man to be a really good animal doctor than it does to be a good people's doctor. My farmer's boy thinks he knows all about horses. I wish you could see him. His face is so fat, he looks as though he had no eyes. And he has got as much brains as a potato bug. He tried to put a mustard plaster on me last week." "Where did he put it?" asked the doctor. "Oh, he didn't put it anywhere on me," said the horse. "He only tried to. I kicked him into the duck pond. Well, well, said the doctor. I'm a pretty quiet creature as a rule, said the horse. Very patient with people. Don't make much fuss. But it was bad enough to have that vet giving me the wrong medicine. And when that red-faced boy started to monkey with me, I just couldn't bear it any more. Did you hurt the boy much? Asked the doctor. Oh, no, said the horse. I kicked him in the right place. The vet's looking after him now. When will my glasses be ready? I'll have them for you next week, said the doctor. Come in again Tuesday. Good morning. Then Dr. John Doolittle got a fine big pair of green spectacles, and the plow horse stopped going blind in one eye and could see as well as ever. And soon it became a common sight to see farm animals wearing glasses in the country all around Puddleby, and a blind horse was a thing unknown. And so it was with all the other animals that were brought to him. As soon as they found that he could talk their language, they told him where the pain was and how they felt, and of course it was easy for him to cure them. Now, all of these animals went back and told their brothers and friends that there was a doctor in the little house with the big garden who really was a doctor. And whenever any creatures got sick, not only horses and cows and dogs, but all the little things of the fields, like harvest mice and water voles, badgers and bats, they came at once to his house on the edge of the town, so that his big garden was nearly always crowded with animals trying to get in to see him. There were so many that came that he had to have special doors made for the different kinds. He wrote horses over the front door, cows over the side door, and sheep on the kitchen door. Each kind of animal had a separate door. Even the mice had a tiny tunnel made for them into the cellar, where they waited patiently in rows for the doctor to come around to them. And so, in a few years' time, every living thing for miles and miles got to know about John Doolittle, M.D., and the birds who flew to other countries in the winter told the animals in foreign lands of the wonderful doctor of Puddleby on the Marsh, who could understand their talk and help them in their troubles. In this way, he became famous among the animals all over the world, better known even than he had been among the folks of the West Country, and he was happy and liked his life very much. And that's where we're going to stop for tonight. So be thinking whether you'd like to hear the rest of this book. But in the meantime, until we know which book we're going to read in its entirety next week, I have a challenge for you, because I always have more, don't I? Well, this story started with a character called the Cat's Meat Man. And I have to tell you something really important. The Cat's Meat Man doesn't sell cat meat. Can you find out what his job really was? Do some research and see if you can find it. And when I was looking for that information, I found an article in an online publication called Mental Floss. And it was an article called 24 Jobs That No Longer Exist. That was some really fascinating reading. So if you'd like to find out something more, not just what a cat's meat man is, but some other jobs that no longer exist, check out that Mental Floss article, 24 Jobs That No Longer Exist. Well, I'll see you tomorrow with a part of another great book. Bye-bye.